It's been 20 years since Hurricane Katrina made landfall in New Orleans, leaving the city and its people in despair. Today, we're going to hear from Congressman Troy Carter, a lifelong New Orleans resident who shares the sights and sounds as the storm moved through.
The water is at least 12 feet deep.
Troy Carter, member of Congress from Louisiana's 2nd Congressional District, representing New Orleans, the river parishes, all the way up to the Capital Region. Before the storm, I remember very distinctly speaking with my brother who was playing golf. I said, "Man, what are you doing? I mean, there's a storm coming." So what are you talking about? It's beautiful sunshine, everything is fine. I said, "No, you need to be getting ready. There's a storm. I know it's sunshining now." And if you recall, the storm had essentially passed, and we were okay. Yeah. And we thought everything's fine. And then the levees broke. In rapid time, we were underwater. The pain associated with people being trapped on rooftops, being at the convention center, and the immediate aftermath of all of a sudden the city being like a bathtub that had just been filled with water.
This city in numerous locations.
When you were able to, I guess, emerge from your home at the time, what was the sight?
It was the most eerie silence that I'd ever heard in my life. There were no bugs, no birds, no insects. It's hard to describe if you haven't been there. It's like a scene out of the Twilight Zone. It was a silence like you wouldn't believe because the whole ecosystem was thrown off. In the immediate aftermath, all you could hear in the air were the distant sound of choppers, bringing rations and supplies in. People were, unfortunately, totally dazed and confused. The feel, the sound, was something I have never experienced in my life before, and I hope and pray I never have to experience it again.
When you found out the levees broke,
how could this be? What do you mean the levees broke? I grew up in New Orleans, man. Levees are there to protect us.
Right.
You never thought of a levee breaching. It was unheard of. So to think that the levee that I knew as the great protector between me and the Mississippi River my entire life had broken, it was a breach, you can't comprehend that. It was chaos. I mean, it was mass chaos. There's nothing in the textbook to prepare for a natural disaster of this size. Clearly things could have been done better. The resources could have moved faster. There could have been greater communication. But even with that, it was limited. Everything was out. I mean, where there was limited access to any form of communication outside of emergency communication. There's no way to communicate with individuals. Again, it was an absolute nightmare.
You can hear more stories like this in our special program, Hurricane Katrina 20 Years Later, A Lived Experience. Join us Saturday afternoon at 2:30 and again Sunday at 3:30. We're going to hear from other survivors sharing their personal stories from the day the storm hit and the levees failed. News 4 at 4 will be back in just a moment.